Hi guys, so today I'm going to be making a video on how to install a Rawtek or S&B filters cold air intake onto a 2012 Audi A3 TDI. The one I ordered is actually for a 2013 Golf TDI, but my buddy has a Golf TDI and we looked at the bolt patterns and where everything lines up, and it's the exact same. Because if you're on the Rawtek website, they don't actually sell one for A3 TDI, but it's the exact same. Okay, so comes with air filter, and when you're on their website, you can choose from either this white one or a red oiled filter. And getting a different filter doesn't cost anything extra. And it has this rubber coupler. Has this little intake thing to the box. Has this little rubber stopper, and actually, where is it? On the bottom of the box, you have an option to either install this or install this black stopper. I'm going to be using this just so it gets more air. But yeah, that's optional. This thing replaces the little flex hose that attaches to the turbo, or kinda goes down there, and then this is the front glass and has some stickers in there, and the gasket, whatnot. Get a big bag of hose clamps and the hardware. A little rubber O-ring for the box, and a plastic coupler that has a fitting for the vacuum line. And it does come with a fitting for the vacuum line as well. But right now I'm just gonna be basically prepping it to get put in the car. First off, I guess, I helped my buddy install his. In this front one, there was a little bit of an issue of it collapsing down, so I got some epoxy to fix that, hopefully. I'm gonna go ahead and test fit it though. I'm gonna go ahead and move this mic out of the way because it's getting close. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about. Here, let me move the mic back. Okay, so basically this just kept kind of falling in, and I don't really want that, so I'm just going to use a little bit of epoxy on the inside there. Try to hold it on. Don't put this in your hair. Now I don't really need the whole thing, it's just mainly this one side. So I'm gonna get a little bit on there, put it in the groove, get a little bit more. Now this is the only issue that we were really noticing with it, is that was closing in and it didn't really cause anything. I just personally rather not have it close in like that. Okay. Should be enough. And then just kinda let it sit there, and I'm gonna actually be installing this on the car tomorrow, so. Now this is the thing that I was saying was optional. You can either put this black stopper in there like that, or you can put this one in and let more extra air in, which is what I was gonna do. Which if you leave this stopper in, you'll probably be getting colder air because it'll only be intaking from this, which will be the front of the grill, and this is gonna be like closer to the bottom, a little bit closer to the engine, but not really. So it kind of depends whether you want more air or colder air, I guess. I'd rather have more air in mine, but yeah. Okay. Now that that's installed, this one doesn't have any of that problem I was telling you about with the front one where it collapses in on itself a little bit. So this will be in the hose clamp and hardware bag. Don't need that. It's these little grommets that go on the bottom. There's some little plastic pins underneath the air intake that it'll kind of clip into. Now for one of them, you'll use this metal piece with this kind of like rubber silicone clear looking thing, and just kind of press it in to itself. So it'll look like that when it's done. And then they give you 2 of these black grommets, but you only need 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this back over. Okay, so this metal one, when you're looking at the engine bay, it'll be the right side. So it's gonna be sitting in there like that. So this one is gonna be this hole, and the black grommet's gonna be this one right there. Just press it in as best you can. Okay, that one's in, and you just take the black grommet and you kind of wiggle it in there. By the way, if people actually end up liking this video, it's probably gonna get a nicer camera, because I know this one's pretty crappy, but it's kind of in there, and then flip back over. Get it in the rest of the way. You need to put this black O-ring in there so it actually has something to hold on to. Now, none of this stuff really has any particular order, but all this prepping stuff you want to have done before you put it in. And you can put the air filter in before you put it in the car, but I wouldn't really recommend that because you kind of want to see the rubber grommet on the bottom to make sure that it gets seated properly. Okay, so next we're gonna actually, before I put that in, so this has the little vacuum line fitting, and it comes, there's a bolt that goes in here, and it actually comes with a new one of those and a washer for it. In this vacuum line fitting, it is plastic, so you really don't want to, you probably could use a wrench on it, but you really wouldn't want to tighten it very much at all. That's about as tight as I really want to care to go. Mainly because if you use a metal wrench on this and you crank down on it, it's gonna just break it. And this you just kind of put in there, and you can adjust everything after. Do you put it in? But I think that is everything for now. And then actually, we'll go ahead and do. So go ahead and show you how to install the gasket. So the trick I use, angled angled tweezers, and you just kind of squeeze the gasket like that, and then you press it down into the groove while squeezing, and you just kind of keep doing that all the way around. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start the disassembly process, and if you don't need to watch the disassembly, go ahead and skip forward to 18 minutes and 50 seconds is where the assembly starts. But first you need to get this front little intake piece off, and you pop the plastic cover off the top of it, and then there's two Torx screws that hold it to the front. I don't remember what those Torx screws are, what the size are, but there's 4 Torx screws in the entire disassembly process, and they're all the exact same size. So you go ahead and get this one off, and then you get the next one off on the left, is what you'll see me do soon. So yeah, that's about the location of where the other one is, if you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for this camera angle. It's like my first actual video, and okay, so that just pops out of there, but it's my first actual video, and I'm learning, and I'm gonna try and improve camera angles and editing, and hopefully get some better camera equipment if people actually end up liking this video. But there's 5mm Allen head and where I was reaching right there, and after you get that out, there's just 2 rubber grommet things and plastic pins holding it in, so you can just pull up on the whole thing and it'll pop out. Now the reason I'm doing a voiceover on this section is I had some friends over and we were talking and listening to some music. It was copyrighted, but yeah. And then after you can pop that off, then you wiggle that vacuum line. You don't want to rip it straight off, otherwise it'll damage the vacuum line. You don't want that. But get that off there. And then there's 2 more torque screws holding that plastic map sensor piece in, which you actually use the whole plastic tube that the map sensor attaches to in the final cold air intake. So you can unplug it, but you don't really need to. Or at least I didn't really need to. But just unscrew that one. And then you can't really get access to the one on the bottom without taking that little flex hose off the back. So you get some vice grips or whatever you use to get hose clamps off and take off that flex hose thing. So like I said, I'm trying to improve. So if you guys have any recommendations on how I can improve things other than the things I already said, like camera angle and editing, feel free to leave those in the comments, because I'll definitely read all those comments that you guys put. But so you pop that back piece off, and then that'll give you access to the torque screw on the bottom. Then you pop that plastic map sensor piece out, and that, like I said, you use in the final intake and whatever you want to call it, and then you wiggle this out of there and kind of snake it out to avoid ripping that line at the bottom. And you'll see that second tube that attaches to the back of the intake box. Now, I don't really know what that is. Feel free to leave that in the comments. Okay, so now there's a 5mm, or not 5, 7mm hose clamp that holds that flex pipe on. And that gets... Okay, so now we're starting assembly. And this is where it's starting to get a little nervous, because all the bolt pattern and everything for a Golf is the exact same, but it is tighter in this engine bay than in a Golf or a Jetta. So my friend was trying to help me hold that battery box out of the way, or the lid for it, and it definitely helped, because it was really tight in this engine bay, but it got in and it's not rubbing against anything it's not supposed to. But like I said, there's that that hose back there, and apparently you're just supposed to leave it there according to Rawtek, but here I'm testing to make sure that the hood still closes, because it is tighter, and the hood closes and everything fits. So my camera actually died a few times. Actually, right now what I'm doing is I'm putting the new bolt that replaced that 5mm Allen head in. It's just the only bolt that holds it down. And this is where my battery, or my camera battery died, and all I really did was put that vacuum line piece and the air filter in. But then you put in this hard plastic tube, and you just that replaces the flex hose, and you put it in small end first, and there's a small rubber coupler that you use to attach it to where the old one was, and then there's two large rubber couplers that you use. So that's the first large rubber coupler, and get two hose clamps on it. And you can go ahead and put this other rubber coupler on. Now, Rawtek says this entire process takes about an hour. It took me about 45 to 50 minutes, plus that break we took in the middle to charge up the battery. And like I said, that's why it's dark, is because we took a break in the middle. And I also lost a wrench under the car, or in the engine bay, and my friend was able to reach under there and grab it for me. But put that other hose clamp on. And I like to line up all the hose clamps. To me, it looks nicer, and it makes it look like you put more thought into it, I guess. But then the camera dies again, but all you really miss is me putting the clasp piece on top and tightening down all the hose clamps. But here you'll basically see me trying to adjust everything and get it all lined up properly, and actually try to take the air filter out a little bit to get everything lined up perfect. And then it'll cut to me the next day showing what it looked like after, because I didn't realize the battery died. So after you get all the hose clamps tight, make sure you put that vacuum line on. Those 4 hose clamps, tighten them down. That's how I was lining them all up, like I said. And then something I like to do is there's tubes and wires that went over that intake piece on the back, and I just tucked them under. And then that's the video. Thank you guys for watching.